Okay, good morning, everybody. I call to order the Tuesday, May 7th, 2024 Judicial and Public Safety Committee meeting. Can we get a roll call, please?
Chair Evans.
Here.
Member Chaplin. Member Chaplin. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Desart. Member Eckhoff. Member Guston. Member Krajewski. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori. Member Yu. Member Zay.
Okay, we're all here. Is there any public comment?
No public comment today.
No public comment. Okay, for chair remarks, oh, Member Eckhoff is here now. So good morning, everybody. Yesterday, members Greg Schwarzy, Ina Yu, and I had a wonderful opportunity to observe the Do Smart reunification exercise in West Chicago. Do Smart is the DuPage County School Mutual Aid Response Team, which joins together school administrators and staff, police, fire, emergency management, and other cooperatives to prepare for critical incidents at school. Yesterday's exercise saw Lehman Middle School evacuate over 1,000 students to a safe location and simulate reunification with parents. The standard reunification method that DuPage County has adopted was developed by the I Love You Guys Foundation. I suggest that you go to iloveyouguys.org to learn the heartbreaking origin of this name and the amazing work that this foundation does. Thank you to DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin, DuPage Regional Office of Education Superintendent Amber Quirk, Head of the School Safety Network John Heiderscheit, and representatives from West Chicago Elementary School District and the local police and fire agencies. And thank you to our Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management for facilitating radio and phone communications at this event. Mutual aid between agencies is another way of saying that we are crowdsourcing for the best of the best to help our neighbors. Today, we also have a wonderful opportunity on the agenda brought by the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management to enter a memorandum of understanding with the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System, ILEAS, to take custody of a unified command post servicing Region 4 of IEMA OHS. This is an important asset that will bolster our already robust operations. This asset will be operated by members of the OHSEM team, as well as our volunteers 24/7. We are excited for the opportunity to continue providing DuPage County residents a safe place to live and play. I also want to let everybody know that at our next meeting, Dr. Richard Jorgensen, the DuPage County coroner, will be coming to give an update on opioid deaths within the county. So make sure you're here for that. And with that, I would accept a motion to approve the Tuesday, April 16th, 2024 committee and meeting minutes. Okay, is this the part where Member Garcia, would you like to move to change the minutes?
Yes, I'd like to make an amendment on 5B 24-1417. This is for the joint special meeting of the Judicial, Public Safety and Legislative Committee just to show that I was in attendance.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and then can we go back to item 5, approval of the minutes for, sorry. Oh, as amended. Motion. Okay, is there a second? No second? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that is approved. Moving on to resolutions, can I get a motion to approve JPSR-12-24, authorization for the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the County of DuPage and the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System? Any discussion on that? Oh. Okay, second. Oh. Okay. Motion by Zay, second by Guston. Any discussion on that?
Storage for this item we're getting?
Oh, let's see.
Remember, Guston says she's got a spot in her garage if you get, or you know, she's got it.
Yes, members A. They would be stored here on the campus over with our other communication trucks in the 170 building. And there's room for it there now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to item 6B, can I get a motion to approve FIR-78-24, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Court Technology Modernization Program grant in the amount of $346,906. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to budget transfers, can I get a motion to approve item 24-1418, transfer of funds from building improvements to furniture, machinery, equipment, small value in the amount of $5,000. These are excess building improvement grant funds to be used for bookshelves and other small value furniture and equipment to equip the self-help center. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to grants, can I get a motion to approve item 24-1419, U.S. Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance, DuPage County Forensic Science Center in the amount of $348,564. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve item 24-1420, Donated Funds Initiative Grant, PY25, Illinois Department of Human Services, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $77,339. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to item C, can I get a motion to approve item 24-1421, DCFS Children's Advocacy Center Grant, PY25, in the amount of $346,126.73. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve item 24-1422, DuPage County Adult Redeploy Illinois Program, SFY 25, for the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority in the amount of $441,974. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on, can I get a motion to approve item 24-1423, GPN-17-24, Veterans Treatment Court Innovations Program, All Rise Justice for Vets, Bureau of Justice Assistance in the amount of $67,650. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, I'm going to move this way because I always start this way. So I'm going to start with Member Cahill.
I just wanted to welcome today the IC Catholic Prep students and teachers here to the county. We thank you for coming. They're interested. They're in their government class at IC Catholic Prep. So let's everyone give them a welcome today.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for bringing some young faces here. And then that was a slight on you. Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to express concern about something that I saw on social media on Friday. Last week, Sheriff Mendrick had a fundraising event, and the narrative says that a portion of the proceeds from this event will be used to address staffing shortages at the DuPage County Sheriff's Office by recruiting new deputies. And I'm concerned about this. First of all, I'm not sure, and I would like to have the state's attorney's office weigh in. I'm, again, not an attorney, but this doesn't seem, I don't think it passes the smell test. I don't know what the sheriff is able to do in terms of putting his own political funds into what I would consider a professional activity, which comes under the purview of his office. And I'm just concerned about this. I think that it could create issues with other law enforcement agencies. I do understand that the staffing issue is very important right now and very difficult because there is, frankly, not enough people interested in going into law enforcement. So I understand the shortages, et cetera. But I would just like more information about what is intended by this, and frankly, if it's actually legal to do this. It just seems, it seems like difficult, it seems like a border has been crossed. You know, we fund the sheriff's office. I think there's sufficient funds to do recruiting, et cetera, but this seems like just an untoward mix of political funds with the actual funds of the office. So.
Okay, I guess we can pass that on to the state's attorney's office, and
Yeah,
this
I'd
might
like
be
to hear.
actually a Board of Elections issue also, but
I'm sorry?
this also might be just a Board of Elections issue with,
A Board of Elections issue?
yeah, with fundraising, with,
No, there's nothing to do with Board of Elections. This is a fundraiser that was held last week, and it's stated here on the flyer that this
well, no, I'm
monies
just
raised, some of the
thinking-
monies raised would go toward recruitment, which seems to me like a professional function versus
It is, or,
a political function.
so we'll let the attorneys figure that out.
I think that, because I don't think this has nothing to do with the election commission at all. This is just, no,
Yeah,
there's
if
nothing.
it's a campaign issue.
This is a
So
campaign.
We're not, well, I wouldn't say that we're not attorneys in here, because there are quite a few attorneys here, but
Well, I'm not.
I
and
know, I'm
acknowledge
just saying that I don't need to speak on it with whether it's.
But
Board of
I'd like a
Elections.
response from the state's attorney's office, because it just seems, it doesn't seem like it's something that should be done by someone in a political format, which is raising funds, and we've all raised funds, no problem with that. But to take funds and say that you're going to use it toward recruitment, which is a professional position or professional function of your office, seems, it doesn't seem appropriate to me.
Okay, yeah, so we'll pass that on to the state's attorney's office, and then we're going to go to member Chaplin and then members A.
Thank you. So as finance chair, I am concerned about that fundraising flyer that went out. We adequately funded our sheriff. In fact, I don't know, Jeff or Nick, if you can answer, I believe we counted for additional headcount in the sheriff's budget this year. When I look through that, we did put additional spots in for the sheriff. But I have questions for the sheriff that I would like answered. So if you guys can answer, about the increase, I believe, because I think we did, I saw the number of employees that we had previously and what we budgeted for. I think there were more. Is that correct?
Off the top of my head, we may have included additional, but there were quite a few employees that were not funded. Well, we didn't cut the head count because the recruitment efforts are still difficult with the sheriff. All of the positions weren't funded.
Right, but we did. I think I know we.
But
did.
I know the head count never decreased.
The head count did increase, right? So I guess for my purposes, so I'm wondering if the sheriff can clarify how the funds raised from the campaign fundraiser would be allocated, particularly in relation to recruiting new deputies. So that's question one. And I said, given that the county board has already allocated funds, what specific needs or initiatives will the additional funds from the fundraiser address? So, what are we missing here? Why weren't these concerns brought up in our budgeting process last year? Because I'm sure we would have been happy to address them. Are there any specific challenges or goals regarding the recruitment that the additional funds are intended to help overcome or achieve? So, I think we need answers to these. And then the transparency, how will we ensure transparency and accountability in the funds used raised from the campaign fundraiser, especially in relation to recruiting new deputies? I mean, is he going to send them? Is he going to give them bonus? What is going on? And, what factors, what played into the influence the decision to allocate funds from this recent event towards recruitment? So I think those are important questions that need to be asked because, I've been very proud of this board and how we have always supported law enforcement and how we always have given our sheriff the funds that he has requested. So I think those questions, I'll send them in an email, but I would like those questions answered. Thank you.
Okay, members A.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, there was the magic word we all talked about for 5 minutes. Could have sent in an email, but no, we wanted to publicly go after the sheriff here over a personal fundraiser or something, again, that people love to bring on this board, something on social media. Maybe we should go to the source instead of going to social media and see what it was. I don't know who posts anything on social media. Sometimes people post for myself. But again, I don't think at any time anybody said the sheriff said we underfunded his office. Didn't say that. We all know the challenges. We've had people from the sheriff's office getting law enforcement. We have seen other counties have to go to other counties to fill their jail. There's a lot of problems out there. There's a lot of recruitment issues. But instead of sending an email to the sheriff himself and asking that, let's publicly do it in a meeting to try to embarrass the sheriff. But again, I wish we had the same determination with every other elected official in this county. We just seem to, when the sheriff does something, we want to go after. But we always say that we support law enforcement in there, to throw that in there. We support them, but let's put them over the coals first before we support them. You know, I'm getting tired of this political stuff on the county board floor. And if we want to make it political on this county board floor, I am the one who can do it more than anybody. And I have tended not to do it. But if we're going to open this months away from the election, we can start it here. And if that's the way we want to go, and every time we want to do it, we want to go after our sheriff before something, instead of sending an email to him and trying to get an explanation, let's publicly do it in a JPS meeting. This is getting ridiculous.
Thank you, Member Zay. Member Ozog?
Thank you. First of all, this was put on social media by Sheriff Mendrick, okay? And secondly, in an effort to be transparent, I saw this and I am bringing it up because it seems to me that it's a mingling of private political funds with a public function. And I'd like some answers. And I can ask that in a public forum. And that's what I've done today. This is not an attack, it's a concern. And my concern is that there may be some, I don't really know how you would even do this to offer your political funds to recruitment, but it seems to me that would also cause us a lot of trouble with competing agencies as well. So I just want to know if this is something that is allowed, and is it something that we should perhaps nip in the bud right now? Because it seems to me that it is a commingling of political and private money, and private money and a regular function of the office.
Thank you. Member Yu, and then Member Guston, and then Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on a completely separate note, I actually was hoping to speak about the domestic violence statistics with regard to the pretrial fairness dashboard and the Villa Park murder-suicide that happened recently. In fact, Julie Elgazabal's funeral was this past Sunday. So I understand that, I know that State's Attorney Berlin's office has been changing their procedures to increase the number of filed petitions for domestic battery, misdemeanor, for domestic battery, bodily injury. And so I was just hoping that at some point in time, after his processes are complete, that he could come back and talk to us about what else they've been doing and how they've been increasing the filed petitions. He mentioned in some article that there was a stakeholders meeting, and I would love to hear more about what comes out of the stakeholders meeting. And I would like to learn more about what happened with the GPS and why the GPS monitor either didn't work, didn't do its job, or the response time, because the GPS monitor is for about 1,000 feet or plus, and that didn't happen where she was protected. And then the last thing is that if the judges, if it's their discretion to not detain, even after a petition is filed, then I'm just wondering if there needs to be training of judges, if judges are actually trained in domestic violence dynamics and power and control, all of those things. So I just kind of want to address that at some point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then let's see, Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with Member Yu. I think having someone here to talk about the domestic violence issue and cases and stuff is important. I know Judge Walsh, I believe, is domestic violence judge, and she's been here in front of us before, but it's always good to get a refresher on that and some information. As far as with respect to Sheriff Mendrick, I know there's a lot of conversation and allegations, and I did go on Facebook to his site to try to find it, but I couldn't find it. So maybe the members that have seen it can share it with the rest of us because I could not find it. And social media to me is kind of not as legit as, you know, one might want it to be. It doesn't always seem to be factual. People put, I mean, I was just with a group of young people at an event at Jefferson Junior High with our chairwoman and spoke with some of the young people, and they're like, yeah, people put stuff on there that just isn't true, and you know, they make stuff up or whatever. Not that the sheriff would do that, obviously, but you have to consider the source. So I would like to see if something, you know, would like to see the post that they're referring to. So hopefully somebody can get that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Member Krajewski.
Thank you. I think Senator Kern may have some legislation to help address some of those issues that maybe he just filed, and legislators may want to look at that. Regarding, we had a little talk here about hiring deputies. I know one of the things I've been saying for the last year plus is our merit commission, you know, requires the education requirement for officers before they can go through the training. And I know they lowered it once, but I know Sheriff Mendrick had asked to have that removed. And we continue to lose employees here who are going to other agencies and being hired by other police departments, but yet they can't even apply for us because of that requirement the Merit Commission has. So again, I've been raising that for a year. We may want to look at that. And then I know we talked about the budget, Jeff, would we be able to see that in those quarterly audit reports that we have to get every quarter? Would that be in there, the sheriff's budget for, yeah, that the state requires us to get? Would that be in those? His budget?
You know, I haven't looked at one of those.
Okay.
I just, if it's not coming from our office, I really don't pay attention.
Okay.
I mean, we can get you from finance, we can get you anything you want.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we want Under Sheriff Moore to come up here and say a few words?
There you go. Good morning. First of all, I'm a little upset about how much things we got going on with the sheriff this morning as far as his fundraiser. His heart's in the right place. He's just trying to, you know, backfill our vacant hallways, our vacant squad cars, to make you guys safe. So if for some odd reason that's something he can't do with his fundraiser, then he won't do it. We'll figure that out. He's not going to do something illegal on purpose. And second of all, we have reduced our education requirements. It is now the high school. I can't go any lower than that. Basically, we can do, and we're hiring as fast as we can. We've had several people come in and out. Our salary cap is a lot lower than a lot of other places because we have a lot more people. So it's taken some time to get some good quality people that actually want to be like me and be here at the sheriff's office. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to go with Member Eckhoff because you have not spoken yet.
Since Assistant Chief Moore's here, can I ask you a couple other questions? Are we fully staffed at the courthouse?
Not even close.
Why? Why is that?
Same recruiting issues.
So the amount, have we budgeted everything that we can for the people who are there?
I don't understand your question.
Is all the, we budgeted for, do we budget for the entire, like if we're fully staffed, or do we budget for what our actual staff is?
We're budgeted for my entire head count, I believe, is 504 total, civilian and sworn. Do I have that many people? No, I am 34, 35 short right now.
And why are we short?
Retirements, people are going to different places, people are moving. We lost 6 or 7 people just last week, all out of the courthouse.
I know. Are we going to end up having to pay these people more for these positions in the future? Because I thought Downers Grove and Lake County were both increasing the rate of money that they are paying for these people.
Correct. The state police, I think I saw on social media, are starting their laterals at about $114,000.
So they're paying their deputies more than we're paying ours?
Absolutely.
And have we budgeted for that increase?
We will for 2025. I'll try and budget for an increase for the staff.
We don't have it.
Everything is negotiable. I have 4 or 5 different unions.
Right. But so we don't have that money in the budget right now.
Not for 24, no.
And do you have any idea what the actual cost for all of those 5 unions is gonna be if we raise it to the amount that you think is necessary?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's going to be substantial. Negotiations with all those unions start this year. We're trying to negotiate with MAP to start early. MAP is the union that has the courthouse deputies and also the patrol deputies. And since I'm so short in the courthouse, I would like to get that union started as soon as possible.
And when did this shortage start?
The shortage has been ongoing since COVID. It's just getting worse as people age out.
Okay. Well, and so we're at 504, which would be the full staffing of the sheriff's department.
If we're in a perfect world, 504 people, I believe, is my actual head count.
Taking the prison, the traffic, and courthouse all together, what do we have?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
So what do we have in terms of personnel? We don't have 504. What do we have?
Stand by.
Uh-oh.
All right, I only get these numbers every week and a half. But at 420 on 422, I was at actual head count of 366. I was 33 short. Total actual allowable head count is 505.
So, all right. Well, I mean, the one thing that I would say, and we've talked about this for a long period of time, but the Safety Act was a demoralizer for I think police departments. There's a number of people who keep on talking about supporting public safety who said that act should follow or should be passed and signed by the governor. And we wanted to put a resolution on the floor urging him to veto it, and that wasn't done. So when we keep on having these discussions about strong on public safety, which is a political statement now, since we're in the middle of a political year, I think it's ridiculous to say, it hasn't been proven out by people's actions. And we're just gonna go over the same ground over and over again. And it's unfortunate that this board and the county board in certain spots have become a political springboard for people to try and push their political careers.
Thank you. Let's see, we're going to go Member Chaplin and then Member Ozog.
Thank you. Well, we are entering into the budget season, so I hope that when we budget, the sheriff can talk with our finance team and, hopefully we can get the sheriff what he needs to do his recruiting and things like that, because we want to make sure that you're fully funded. Secondly, I share member Yu's comments about the domestic violence and, what happened in Villa Park. We, give our condolences to the family and even to the people in the state's attorney's office, because I'm sure it's been very difficult for them over there. But, so I understand that now the police officers are going to be required to call the state's attorney's office felony screening unit for misdemeanor domestic battery cases involving an injury to determine if prosecutors should ask to have the suspect detained. And that's coming from our state's attorney. But does our state's attorney have that authority to place mandates on our police department? So that's just something that I question. And I think it's great if they can do it, but I don't know if that's within his purview to do that. And secondly, Senator Curran's legislation, from what I understand, takes the onus from the prosecutor to determine if the individual should be held to the defendant, which I kind of understand could be considered unconstitutional. So I don't know if that bill that Senator Curran even is putting through is going to go anywhere. So I hope that if that does not go anywhere, that our state legislators, if there's something that they put forward, that it is something that, will be illegal legal to do, or something that's constitutional. Because, like I say, laws are meant, laws don't stop all violence, or they don't stop all crime, right? But they're used as a deterrent. But we want to make sure that, any laws that we have are going to be, pass that test. So, but I really just am curious if our state's attorney has that authority to place mandates on the local police departments to go ahead and do that. So, and I'm not sure why the prosecutors wouldn't just make that determination, but so thank you.
Okay. Let's see who else. Member Ozog and then Member Zay.
Thank you. A few comments. First of all, I'm not running for anything this year. I'm also not going to have a private conversation or send emails about something that I think impacts the public. One of the parts of our job is to be the eyes and ears of our constituents. And I have a concern about this issue because what I'm seeing here, and it's under Mendrick for Sheriff's page on Facebook, is a proposal to use campaign funds toward recruitment. And I don't know what that means. And his heart may be in the right place, and that may be incentive or whatever, but I see it as a broader issue. What if, you know, elected official X has $300,000 in their campaign fund and they want to start giving out bonuses? Is that what we're looking at? Because it seems like it's a very slippery slope. So I would like to see the state's attorney address this, or better yet, just say that we're not going to do something like that, because it is commingling of private political funds with a public function. And I'm not looking for any kind of grandstanding that I want to put myself out there against the sheriff, but this is an issue that I think we should address, and I'm going to address it in public. I'm not going to address it in a phone call and get into arguments, et cetera. So that's why I brought it up. So I'd like some answers from the state's attorney if something like this is appropriate, because I don't think it is. And I don't think in an election year, and the sheriff isn't running right now, so I just don't think it's appropriate. And I get to say that. And it's not me pushing myself forward. I'm concerned about how this looks and what it says to possible recruits. And it's something that I don't think we should be doing. That's it.
Okay. Now, also keep in mind that the word recruitment might be very broad. So, you know.
Page, and it said that it would be possibly, some of it would be used toward recruitment. And I just don't think that's right. And I'd like some answers.
I love Facebook.
Well,
okay.
it's a major communication effort or method these days.
Okay,
so
Member
our
Chaplin?
Constituents are all seeing this.
Yeah, and thank you. And I appreciate that. And, you know, and too, and, you know, we always are asking everybody, you know, sometimes we want people to come in and answer questions. Sometimes we don't. But you know what? The one thing I really don't appreciate is the raised voices on this board.
And I hear no raised voices on this board. Maybe mine now.
Members just
accused
that was not here on this board. Well, he was raising his voice, and go back and watch that. And you know what? It's not right, because we try to be respectful to everybody, and these raising the voices and trying to intimidate and bully people on this board floor is not acceptable.
I do not see any bullying here.
Well,
I'm not making anything that's not here.
Excuse me, Chair Evans, when somebody said,
"Oh, I just turned off your mic," guess what? It is unprofessional to be talking over me. Okay. I'm going to recognize Member Zay and then Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, the one thing, this tragedy in Villa Park, we had brought up when we had our presentation about the statistics, and I had brought up that over 70% of domestic violence had asked to be held over were not. And I want to thank the state's attorney. I don't think we should be doing Tuesday morning quarterbacking here. The state's attorney is a tragedy, and being the leader that he is, right away wants to make sure it doesn't happen again, is taking steps to make sure that whatever happened does not happen again, and that it leads to a new policy or new procedures for his office. And I thank him for that. But for us to bring it up and say, when many of us are talking about we're not lawyers, we don't know the domestic violence issues, we don't know that, I mean, these are the worst calls for police, they're the worst calls for families. We should let the state's attorney and the professionals deal with it at that point, instead of having him call in here or come in here and explain. Let them get this policy changed, and let's look at it that way. And if anybody says I'm yelling, I project my voice. I've been a public speaker for almost 30 years. So if we want to do that and we want to continue it, I guess I'll talk in a lighter voice from now on if anybody thinks I'm trying to bully or intimidate. But again, I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm entitled to talk the way I want to talk. But that seems not to be the issue on some other people, that if you disagree with them and if you talk in a, I don't know, pronounced way or whatever, that we're bullying or trying to intimidate, that's just ridiculous. And I've heard that for almost 12 years now, and that's starting to get old. So thank you.
Okay, so everyone has a voice in this board, okay? I will call on you, but you cannot interrupt people. You have to be respectful. I heard no raised voices. Matter experts in so much of the stuff that we are talking about. We can express our opinions, but we are not the subject matter experts. So I'm going to go member you and then member Ozog.
So I take some exception to what member Zay had just stated. I am an attorney. I'm also a domestic violence attorney, domestic violence advocate. So the fact that I'm just asking questions and asking for an update in the future after some investigation and work has happened, that's all I'm asking for. And it's not a political or partisan thing. It's really about domestic violence, the survivors, and about safety. That's all it is.
Okay, member Ozog. Microphone.
Mr. Zay accused me of being political. Mr. Eckhoff made an opinion during this discussion that the Safety Act has demoralized people. He doesn't know that. That's not a fact. That's an opinion. And if member Chaplin wants to express that she felt intimidated or bullied, that's her opinion. And turning off the microphone was quite rude on your part. Sorry.
So I am the chair of this committee.
That's fine, but turning off a microphone is really inappropriate.
She would not stop talking, and I told her to stop talking.
You told her her feelings or her impression was invalid, that she was not bullied. You didn't hear any raised voices.
I did not hear
I heard I was called political because I brought up something that I think is a difficult issue. Commingling political funds with a function of the job. Sorry.
Okay, member Krajewski.
Well, one, I don't think the meeting was ridiculous, but we'll just need to try to talk about the information. I know Grant, he just made a comment that member Chaplin turned his microphone off. So, I mean, the chair runs these meetings. Whatever the chair is going to do is the chair is going to do, whether it's you or anybody else. Again, I don't think the meeting was ridiculous, and we had some good discussion today. People try to focus on the issues and not all the side stuff. So, but
okay, thank you. Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the end of the day, I think we deserve an answer as to whether you can commingle funds like that. That's really the question before us. Whether it's bullying, personal, whatever, that question still sits out there. Can you raise funds? Can you have a fundraiser and take money and recruit people with it? I don't know if what the answer is, but that question has been eloquently presented by Member Ozog as to she wants that question answered. And I, for one, would like to have that answer too. You know, other than that, all the other personal feelings, that kind of thing is kind of irrelevant to me. But that is a key question. Can I go out and raise funds and then use them in ways that I didn't state to the public that I was going to use these funds? Or if I'm stating it, can I use it that way? And I'd like that answer. And how soon can we get that answer?
Okay, so we asked that question probably 20 minutes ago, and it's been noted that we're going to pass that on to the state's attorney's office. So I don't know that there's any other discussion on that. Okay,
I'm just asking when can we expect that answer? Because we've asked questions and they never come back with an answer. So I want to know when we can expect that answer.
Right. So the only person that can answer that is the state's attorney.
We'll look into it, Member Childress.
Thank you.
Okay, so no more, any other comments, questions? Okay, without any objection, we are adjourned.